Hi everyone, we are standing here at the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building around the world now at the moment. And on our way upstairs, they were showing a video channel in which Tom Cruise did all the for the Mission Impossible kind of a movie which came last time. But here we are talking. I have Dr. Stephen Brooks here. I have Pastor Ethan Dupree and Reverend Andrew Train. And thank you, Nick, for a video. So we are talking about since the book of Genesis, since the early civilization, every nation, those who have power, money, and resources, they try to build towers. Whether it's a Tower of Babel with the Burj of Babel, in says in Hebrew or Arabic or Urdu, and then we see in Malaysia they have twin towers. In Pakistan they start to build some Habib Bank Tower, and then we have in USA, New York, Sears Towers. We have all these towers. So why in every generation of civilization, we were talking about whether it's Egyptian pyramids or whatever, why they want to build high-rise buildings since the book of Genesis until the 21st century in Dubai, Burj Khalifa. So we'll start with Dr. Stephen Brooks, as he's a professor of worship also, and we have Reverend Andrew, worship pastor, and Reverend Pastor Dupree. So what do you think?
Well, I think it's important to note that with the Tower of Babel in Genesis, they were actually building because they wanted to reach God. They wanted to gain access to who God was. And I'm not sure if these other buildings are necessarily done with that purpose. I think it's more of showing strength of maybe the region or country that the tower is in. It's also wise planning because in a small amount of square footage, you can put a lot of people, offices, buildings by going up, right? And theologically, with the Tower of Babel, what we see is that the people were building up to try to reach God. But what's amazing is God punished them for that, but later would reverse the curse of spreading out the languages among the people by sending the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, bringing people together by understanding different languages. And so in Genesis, we see the people trying to go up to God, but in the book of Acts, we see God coming down to the people.
Let me talk about it.
Yeah, I concur with everything Dr. Brooks said. There are multiple facets. The term flexing was thrown around on the way up here, and that's just simply coming at it from the prideful aspect. Hey, look at what I can do. Watch what I can do. Look, we're better than you guys. And so there's an ugliness to that as far as that goes. But the positive side is that God has wired this world with components that humanity can figure out how to use. God has given humans creativity, built-in creativity, the ability to harness that ingenuity for greater and greater achievements, cultural achievements, technological achievements, certainly architectural achievements. And as humanity progresses in all of those are good things. We can put them into the category of any other technological achievement. It's neither positive nor negative in and of itself. It's how is it used, and of course, what's the intention behind it. And so these are upsides and downsides, but neither necessarily positive or negative aspect either way. It could be either side depending on how it's viewed or how it's used. We know ultimately that the heavenly city, the New Jerusalem, is going to be a city, right? It's depicted as God could have said, look, we're just going back to the garden, but no, ultimately we're headed toward New Jerusalem. So there's this consideration that humanity's achievements culturally are included, these creative, cultural, and technological achievements somehow are included and redeemed going forward into the eternal city. So there's a goodness to that.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, talking about creativity and just that we as Imago Dei want to create because our God creates, and there's beauty like even just in creating something. And certainly there's the idea of I want to flex, I want to be bigger and better than the rest. There's the prideful boast of we have the tallest building, we have the tallest. It's funny because Tokyo Skytree is one of it's like there's different designations of like tallest man-made structure and tallest tower, and and you try to like maneuver your language in a way that says that this is the tallest, and that feels like a prideful boast. Like we have the world record. But there's beauty in being able to create something and to image God in that creative process. And for an artist, it's not necessarily I'm trying to be the biggest and best so much as I'm just trying to create something, and I've got the ability to do that and sometimes the money to do that, and so I'm going to do it. And I think theologically, when we're talking about the Tower of Babel and what that looks like, I don't know that anyone here is trying to reach God, except that we're all trying to reach God. Sure. So I don't think it's that we're trying to build a building tall enough to reach God, but we are all trying to reach God. And so that is a reality of life. So even in the creative process, there's an aspect of I want to reach God with my life.
I also want to highlight the collaboration that needed to happen for a structure like this to come into place, right? I mean, there were videos on the way up about the wind testing that had to happen and how to anticipate the various forces of wind that would come against this structure at all different levels. How do you test for how these components will respond to those forces? You think about all the various facets of the sciences, architectural components that have to come together, disciplines that have to come together and collaborate wisely, collaborate circumspectly, and with great communication. So those aspects are positive as far as I see.
Yeah, well, as we're talking about theologically, so we have, in the biblical sense, we have about Burj Babel, Burj, and then we are here, Burj Khalifa, we are here, and we talk about, so whether it was all human history, every nation who has resources, who has manpower, who has technology, and who has a vision to do that, and the collaboration, whether it's a secular kind of a Burj, like in the Genesis or this one, or whether it's a sacred kind of Burj. We see in the Buddhist temple the high rise, we see in the Hindu temples in the high rise.
Ancient ziggurats.
Yeah. And we see all these towers, whether they are sacred or secular. This Mayan period is also there, and Buddhist and the Hindus, even the Victorian cathedrals, high rise. God is sitting on a throne, or throne room. So all these show the human's nature and human's aspiration to show that how much, whether they are in a secular world or whether they are in a sacred architecture. So in Dubai, we are in an Arab Emirates. We cannot say that they are reaching to God as we say, because this is an Islamic nation. We believe already God's existence. So this is a kind of a glory and wealth which God has given to this nation. It is an expression of that glory which they are enjoying in 21st century.
Potentially an impetus to want to interact with transcendence.
Yes.
As you're pointing to.
Yeah, so we see here, and thank you very much for watching this. Show a look at the scene in the Burj Khalifa, how the top scene shows you where we are standing right now.